Hello, I'm Hillary. This is my Whiskey Lounge. Welcome to Hillary's Whiskey Lounge. I'll explain this in a few moments. Today we are doing an actual tasting. So by now you should have gotten a Glencairn glass and a nice basic, not too complicated single malt Scotch whiskey. So you may have some Glenmorangie, you might have a Glenlivet, maybe a Glenfiddich. I have chosen for today's tasting a nice, basic, simple, yet amazing whiskey. And this is from the Isle of Arran, Arran, as you can see. This is a 46% ABV, so it's not on the strong side. It's perfect for beginners. And also you should have acquired some kind of water mechanism, maybe a little small pitcher like this, or even a water dropper. So let me explain a little bit about this Arran whiskey. This is an island that's just off the west coast of Scotland. I don't know if you'd categorize it as an Inner Hebrides island, but it's right there, just a short ferry ride across from the mainland. And I chose this one because it's rich and flavorful, as you can see from the color, and as you can see that there's not that much left of it. That I do enjoy this one. This has a light and fruity flavor. The aroma is like baking bread. It's nice and malty. It's not too heavy, and like I said, it has a nice fruity flavor, both fruity aroma and flavor. So I'm going to start with this one. So I'd like you to pour yourself a little bit into your nosing glass, and I would advise that you let it sit a little bit, especially if you're going to add some water. I've actually had these glasses sitting here for over an hour. And I don't know if you can see this very slightly cloudiness that's in this glass. This has a sweet little name. It's called the Scottish Mist. And it's what happens when you add a little bit of water. These are two more. This one I added just about a milliliter. This one I added about 2 milliliters. They're not as much developing the Scotch Mist. But what happens is some of the micro particulate matter, the oils, the little particles that actually are in non-chill filtered whiskey, which is very, very important. You can even see right here on the label, natural color and non-chill filtered. There are some Scotch whiskeys that you can buy that actually do chill filtering, which means they lower the whiskey down to like 5 degrees Celsius, and they push it through this filtering mechanism to take out some of the particulate matter, which we can't see, but which is there, and some of the oils and the real good things about whiskey are actually taken out. And this is because sometimes the manufacturers of that whiskey and the consumers of those whiskeys actually don't like to see this Scotch mist happen to their whiskey when they add water or ice. But remember what I said, we're not going there with the ice, just the water. However, I have tried both chill filtered and non-chill filtered, and I have to agree with the enthusiasts that non-chill filtered is the way to go. You get a much different taste, even aroma and mouthfeel. Okay, I'm gonna have a sip of water. It's always important to have a lot of water just to drink, as well as your pouring water. All right, so we're gonna start with a little bit of nosing. If you want to wake your glass up, you can, if it's been sitting around for an hour, you can just slowly, gently swirl it around. Oopsie, sorry. Just roll it around and wake it up. And then it's very important too, before you start nosing, if you really want to get all of all of your senses heightened by your nosing and your tasting, it's really important not to have any distractions in your tasting area. So for instance, no scented candles, no strong perfumes or deodorants, Try to avoid cooking smells, things like that that might distract you from really, really getting a good sniff in there. I love scented candles, especially in the whiskey room, but if I know I'm going to be doing a nice, serious tasting, I will avoid having my scented candles on. So, breathe out, breathe in. It's like yoga. And take a nice inhale. I do smell the malted nature of this single malt whiskey. It's got a nice, it sort of smells like bread. It smells like honey and fruits. I can't name them yet. I'm not as good at naming all the different smells. I've seen some people switch nostrils like this, as though they're going to have a different sensation or scent from different nostrils. And it would also help if your nose isn't plugged up. And you do have to exhale and take a nice inhale. But it's got a really nice, light, fruity, caramely and malty aroma. Okay, the first sip, when you first taste whiskey, especially if it's the first time you've had it, you're going to get a little bit of burn. It's unavoidable. You're going to have a little bit of burn on your tongue, maybe in the development when the flavors are developing on your tongue, and then when you swallow, you're going to get a little bit of burn as well. So that's to be expected. You just have to endure it, and the more and more you take a sip, the more you do different tastings, that burn is going to go away. Of course, it will help if you add water to your glass. I wish you could see all four of these glasses set up. Well, I'll just take 3 of them. I'll compare the first glass. Whoa. Okay. I guess my phone wants me to show you these glasses. So this is my little flight that I have set up here. Can you see all those? Yeah, just my 4 little glasses set up. I hope I didn't mess them up. No. Okay. Hi. All right, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. So let's take this glass. We're gonna, I was just talking about the burn. The burn is something that you can slightly avoid by adding a little bit of water. Don't add too much water that you're really, really literally diluting your whiskey tasting experience. But it's okay. The first couple times that you taste whiskey, it's completely understandable to do that. But when the whiskey first hits your mouth, that's called the arrival, and then the flavors develop in your tongue, especially if you kind of hold the whiskey there on your tongue for a couple seconds. That's the development. And then finally, when you swallow, that's called the finish. You should still be able to taste the whiskey in your mouth as well as going down your throat, but there are different stages of the flavors that you might detect. Okay, so this is the one that I didn't add water to. It'll clear your sinuses. Wow, the finish is really lively in this one. When it first hit my palate, I really could tasted like honey. It kind of reminded me of pineapple in a way. Some light fruits. Now the thing is, remember that whiskey is made of only water, barley, and yeast. It shouldn't have, if you really are hardcore enthusiast, you really want to go for the non-colored as well. So where there's not that fake caramel color is not added. There are several whiskeys that do add the color. If it doesn't say on the label that it's not chill filtered and there's no color added, then you could probably assume that it's either chill filtered or there is color added. Most whiskeys will not go to the trouble of even putting anywhere on the label that the caramel color has been added. So it's sort of like a negative set that if it says no color added, then you can be sure. Whoa, okay. So, so this one was, as I was saying, you know that whiskey is made of, now you know that it's made of only water, yeast, and barley. And what gives it its color and a lot of flavor are the barrels in which the whiskey has been matured. So it's whatever was in that barrel, whether it was bourbon, American whiskeys, or some nice Spanish sherries. That's where the flavors are going to come from. So when you hear people tasting their whiskey saying, "Oh, I can smell pineapples or taste cherries or raisins," there are no cherries or label or pineapples or things like that added to the whiskey. It's not sangria, but those are the flavors and the aromas that can remind one of tasting all of those different things. Some people even say they smell other chemicals and Band-Aids and plastic and things like that, which are not in the whiskey as well, but they're just the different aromas that are imparted, aromas and flavors that are imparted to the whiskey from the barrels. So I'm going to try next one, the one that I added 1 milliliter of water to. You can barely, well, probably not even see any Scotch mist. Look at the difference between this one that I added just a tiny bit of water to and this one. Do you see the difference where the one that I added about 3 milliliters to is quite cloudy and foggy? That's the Scotch mist. And that's one of the signs that will tell you that your whiskey has not been chill filtered, even though it should also state that on the bottle. So I'm going to try the one that I added just the 1 milliliter to. Now I can tell a difference in the aroma as well between the one that I didn't add any water to. This aroma has really opened up, which is again what the water is going to do for us. It's going to open up and sort of loosen the alcohol molecules. So yeah, it's really sharp and concentrated in the one that I didn't add any water to. And even if I added just a little bit, it does open it up a little bit. So you don't need to worry about really over diluting or getting rid of any good flavors. They're going to be there. And you're going to lessen that burn. Oh, that makes a big difference. That big difference. It doesn't, it has a really nice open flavor. I still taste the caramels, the honeys, the light fruits, but it just seems altogether a deeper flavor and yet lighter. So it's hard to explain. Now let me try, I'll skip the third one, and I want to try the one that I added the 3 mils to. I'll take a little sip of water in between here. Wow, no burn at all, but still a really nice amount of flavor. Really nice. I'm getting more, almost like a buttery flavor. Oh, that's really nice. So, yeah, I haven't done this flight of different water levels in a long time. It really does make a difference. And that's something that I would definitely suggest to you as you start your whiskey journey, is try a little bit with no water and then go increasingly up. And again, you can use a teaspoon. You can actually use a kitchen measuring spoon. The full teaspoon is going to be 5 milliliters, and then of course 2.5 milliliters for the half a teaspoon, and then less than that, 1.2, whatever it is for the quarter teaspoon. So yeah, use your quarter teaspoon to start. That would be a good way to. And if you don't have that scientific pipette or the little droppers, if you do have a dropper and you just want to start with literally 1 drop, then do 2 drops, 3 drops, 4 drops if you want to go that way, maybe even a little more water when you increase it. So maybe 1 drop, 3 drops, 5 drops of water. It's really a matter of taste. Okay, I'm going to explain this to you now. This is going to be my weird object of the day for you. It is a little frightening, especially when you see all of these that I have. Wow. Okay, these are called chalk heads or chalk figures, and these are from England. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but they're made by the Bossons company. It's Bossons, Bossons, and these were made in England from the 40s. Their heyday was in the 60s, and then they closed up shop in the 90s. And so these little chalk figures, they're just made out of, here's the back again, and then they're just molded and then painted. And they're made out of usually some kind of, it's like a plaster. So it's not literally chalk, but yeah, just kind of like a little plaster. And then there's a little hook hangy thing. They come in all kinds of like international head shapes with people wearing different clothes and so forth. There are different themes there's different workers from all over the world. I have ones that are more on the Scottish side. These two guys they both are called Jock, although I think this one is from 1967 and this one is from 1969. So they change from year to year. So both Jock, I don't know, maybe he's aging or something like that. Maybe he's drinking whiskey as well. Let's see. This guy doesn't have a name. And as you can see, they get chipped over time. I try to touch them up. You can actually, I touched this guy up with a green Sharpie on top. They do get chipped rather easily. All these came from a thrift store for a couple bucks, but you can find them on eBay for, especially if they're in a collection, especially if they're not chipped, for hundreds of dollars. They are a little striking if you've never seen one before. This is the Boatman, and I did touch him up with, I think I put makeup on him. I touched him up with makeup and a black Sharpie. So I like these, especially they're on my wall in my whiskey lounge with the light coming up from underneath them. They are very striking. Arr, arr. Okay, so he's the Boatman. And I just picked up this guy, this Jock, the older Jock. I just picked him up a couple days ago. And they've got the little Scottish, the cockades on their heads there. And this guy even has some tartan to him. This is the one that I don't know what he's called. It just says Bossons, made in England. But yeah, I don't know what his name is. I guess I could use my Google and take a snap of him, and they'll tell me what he's called. So anyway, these are the weird objects of the day that I've got in my lounge. I think they're kind of amusing. So I hope that next time you go to a thrift store, you might be lucky enough to find one of these Bossons chalk heads as well. Yeah, all the way from England. They made it all the way to California. All right. Well, Slunjava, please enjoy your whiskey responsibly, and I'll see you next time.